YouTubers, welcome back to Desert Have a Garden. Today is day 3 of our adventure and we are getting ready to head out and go look at the first property. So we are meeting a real estate agent there, and I'll try and sneak in some clips as we go. I'm not sure if this agent really wants to be filmed or not, but we'll find out. So here we go. So we just left the first house and we were not crazy about the house. Does it have potential? Yeah, but it'll probably take a lot of work to get it where we would like it to be. And it's within the price range where we could technically go ahead and do the repairs. The land we really liked. It was 39 acres, there was a greenhouse. It's quite overgrown and hasn't been used in quite some time, so that would take a lot of work as well. And it's very far off the beaten path. So we're keeping it on the list for now. We haven't ruled it out, but at the same time, we don't love it. But we are on our way to the second listing, and this one I've actually called on a couple times. I am quite interested in it, so we're excited to see what it looks like in person.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna have to say, this is my favorite part of this house. It's a barn conversion, but at the same time, it's gonna need a lot of finishing work, and down in the kitchen area leaves a lot to be desired. But this is pretty cool with the big rafters exposed. This is pretty cool with the American flag on the wall.
Yeah, and outlets on it.
Of course, lots of really good views everywhere over the 80 acres of certified organic. I don't know. This house is at the top of our budget, and so we wouldn't have that much available for doing renovations, and it needs them. House number 3 has a sauna. I think I could live with that. Okay, so house number 3 was cool that it had a sauna and an indoor hot tub, but the layout was just really weird. It was an original house from the 40s, and then they just kept adding on to it. And so, like, the kitchen window overlooked a sunroom. So it was like a window to another indoors. And I spend way too much time in the kitchen to be looking in a sunroom. I want to have something pretty to look at. Plus, it was near a main highway. So house number 3 is slashed off. The 4th house we were going to look at, I guess the owner just broke off some of the acreage and sold that separately, so it's smaller than we would like for the property, so we're cutting that one off. We're going to take a quick lunch break, and then I think we have 3 more to look at this afternoon. Butterfly garden at house number 4. All right, this is the last listing we're looking at today, and not crazy about it. It seems like maybe a decent property, but we're a little unclear as to where the property lines are, so the realtor is going to get back to us with information on that. The house was fine. It was definitely going to require some remodeling to make it work for what we want it to be, but the price is low enough that we could technically do that. So I think we're going to call it a wrap for today for looking at properties, and see if we can go do something to unwind a little bit. All right, so we are done with looking at properties for the day, and we came back to camp and had some fun playing with the kids, horsing around a little bit. I definitely know what people are talking about as far as the Missouri humidity goes now, so I don't know, how does the Missouri vapors look on me? I don't think the weather is a deal breaker at all. It's definitely way cooler than our hot desert temperatures, but you can see it's nice clear skies. We haven't gotten any of those storms, Marco or Laura, and so it's great. Can you hear those geese in the background? The one downside of this RV park is that it's right off of the big freeway, so you hear all of that traffic, but I can hear those geese. And so at night the geese come in and they're out there squawking, and then all the turtles pop up and try and scare off the geese, and they're actually pretty successful. They, like, I don't know if they bite at their tails or what they do, but they got like 40 of them to fly off, and then they keep flying back, and there's a little island out on the little pond that the geese come to. So anyways, getting distracted with geese. So we went and looked at property today. There was nothing that was amazing and I thought was the one and the place. There was something to work with at a few of them, and so they remain in consideration, but we have a lot more to look at and even more promising prospects, things that meet more of our requirements. So that leads me in to telling you what some of our requirements were. So first off, why Missouri? Well, there's a book by a gentleman named Joel Skousen called Strategic Relocation. And in this book, it kind of gives a synopsis of each state and the pros and cons of that area depending on what you're looking for. And so using that book as a guideline, we were looking for a place where we could easily have a farm without heavy reliance on irrigation. And so that obviously requires a place that has quite a bit of natural rainfall, and Missouri definitely meets that requirement. So that was one thing. Another thing, we wanted to be down in the Ozarks in Missouri because we don't want to be somewhere where it's completely flat. We really want to have some of that change in incline. We don't want to be out in the open so much. I mean, I'm imagining a prairie where you look as far as the eye can see and then, whoop, there's your house right there. And you don't really have privacy. That's another thing that Missouri has, is these giant, beautiful trees, which act as a great privacy thing, as well as shade and bringing in natural wildlife and good things like that. Another thing is we are a homeschooling family, and Arizona is a really free state as far as homeschooling goes. The only requirement is to file an affidavit with the county superintendent, your intent to homeschool, and then you're on your own. They don't provide you with anything, and you're not required to provide anything in return. So we needed to meet that standard or better, and there are not very many states that are as good as Arizona or better, but Missouri happens to be one of the states that is actually better. And so there is absolutely no requirement for homeschooling here in Missouri. You don't have to file an affidavit, you don't have to report test scores, you just do your own thing, and that is what we like to do. So that was one of our primary considerations, actually. It was very high on the list. Otherwise, things that we want, we would like to have a bigger house than we had previously. We would like to have at least 10 acres, but ideally we'd like to match the 40 acres we had before. But depending on topography and tree coverage, less is okay as well. We'd like to have a mix of trees and pasture both, because we would like to have some of those farm animals, and we would like to have our private well, so we're not reliant on city water, and electric is fine, absolutely. It's really hard to generate your own electric on solar and using generators, but of course we'll have a backup generator just because storms and all of that, electricity can be really unpredictable. We don't have to have a brand new, nice new house because we are willing to put in the sweat equity. We obviously have a limit as to how much we want to spend, and but our money goes a lot further here than it did in Arizona, and that's why we are looking at the area. It looks like I am running out of daylight. The sun is setting quickly on me, so I think I'm going to call it a day here. But tomorrow we will pick up and we will be looking in the Jasper County, so that's the county to the north of us, and we have 6 properties to look at there. So if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more updates on our journey.